It's yours.
You're not gonna tell me?
You just took off. How are you going to take care of it?
The Place Beyond the Pines delivers a morality tale in 3 acts. Ryan Gosling plays Luke Glanton, a brooding stunt biker who's wooed Eva Mendes and is supporting their infant son by pulling bank robberies. Bradley Cooper is the dutiful cop ready to take him down. And then, a generation later, their sons forge a friendship in the shadows of their fathers.
I'm not gonna let you bring us down. If you ride like lightning, you're gonna crash like thunder.
Joining me now to take their spin in the cage of death is Peter Mad Dog Bradshaw and Catherine Knife Edge Short. Peter, Derek Cianfrance worked with Ryan Gosling before on Blue Valentine, but there's a bit more rev to this.
There's a huge amount more rev. I found that this reminded me very much of a Dennis Lehane kind of thriller, but I enjoyed it and admired it much more than any Dennis Lehane movie I've seen, I must say. I thought this was very engaging, very involving. I think it's Ryan Gosling's kind of his best performance in a long while. I think he was doing something more than the sort of sleepy-eyed, woozy face that he usually does. I liked it very much. I thought there was something quite interesting and rather daring in this way it's structured, at least in the beginning, of just showing us first Ryan Gosling's character and then shifting the focus round to Bradley Cooper's cop without showing the way in which they're integrated. And I thought that was really interesting, that kind of diptych effect. So yeah, I was gripped by it.
Catherine Peters saying this is Gosling's best performance. There is some kind of parallels here with Drive, which is a performance a lot of people know him for, right?
I think that's right. And I mean, actually, when I've seen this twice now, and the first time I saw it, my sort of expectations were such fever pitch, and also you can't help but compare it to Drive through a lot of it because he's this sort of amazing stunt driver, and he's doesn't say much, and he's Gosling, you know.
He's got a trendy jacket, mechanic mate.
It's true.
There's a lot of parallels.
So much stuff. But I think once those expectations are sort of changed and you relax into it, it really does sort of develop and grow on you and really lingers with you. For me, that last part was again, it's when their grown-up sons are sort of meeting. It was slightly strange. I mean, you know, Ryan Gosling and Eva Mendes' son as a baby is played very nicely by Anthony Pizza, the upcoming actor. It's actually called.
He was great.
He was really good. But then as an older boy, you'd think if your dad's Ryan Gosling and your mum's Eva Mendes, you'd be just the best looking person ever. And the guy who plays him, very good looking, but sort of strange and weedy looking. Whereas Bradley Cooper and Rose Byrne's kid is this ridiculously sort of street kind of rapper guy, and no explanation of how he became quite so rappy. Anyway, lots of sort of issues, but the whole thing it's really operatic. It's really good. It's really worth seeing, I think. It's
quite a moralistic film as well, though, isn't it? There's this feeling that evil in one person or bad in one person will drain down to the child, and there's no avoiding that.
I mean, I think that is at once the interesting part of it and the flawed part of it. I kind of didn't, but what I thought was great was the film it was so great right up until the moment that it had to tie it all up and show us the closure and show us the redemption and show us the moral. I thought when it was left untied, or even when you weren't quite sure what was happening with the second generation, what the connection was, when they just left it ambiguous, I was gobsmacked by that. I thought that was going to be so great and so daring and audacious. And unfortunately, it isn't quite as daring and audacious as all that.
Catherine, you interviewed Eva Mendes for the paper last week. Does she have much to do in this, other than look after Anthony Pizza, of course?
No, not a lot, because it's a film entirely preoccupied with paternal legacy. I mean, it's funny because she has these scenes with Gosling that are meant to kind of crackle because they're, you know, together in real life, and she doesn't really have many scenes with Cooper, so she's a bit kind of stranded in it. It's a strange film. And it's interesting the way they're sort of selling it, because they're selling it very much as the return of Gosling, the return of the sort of Drive era Gosling, you know, rather than going with the Bradley Cooper angle, which is curious because, you know, Bradley Cooper is kind of last year's Ryan Gosling. You know, Gosling was sort of had this huge 2011, and then Cooper had this huge 2012, where they kind of emerged as serious stars. Yeah, it's interesting they're going so much with Gosling, and you think they must feel a bit annoyed that the amazing-looking trailer for Only God Forgives, which is the actual follow-up to Drive, was released this week, which kind of might have stolen a bit of the thunder. But no, I mean, it's certainly curious.
I mean, especially strange in a way that Gosling's just said that he's going to take a break from acting now, and we've seen too much of him. and these two big films are coming out.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say his performance is very different than Drive. I mean, if you want to see him repeat that kind of performance, you watch the trailer for Only God Forgives, where he returns to the super cool, ultra-violent kind of Avenger. This is a much more accessible and human performance from Ryan Gosling, which is why I frankly preferred it.
You want a house? I'll get you a house. You want to get the out of here? Well, get out of here. I got that trailer. I'll get a truck. We'll hit the road. You pick a place you like, we'll stop. You don't want to be there, we're out of there.